What the does the narcissist want from you? Whether the narcissist in your life is a parent, a family member, a friend, a significant other, a sibling, a relative, a coworker, a boss, whoever, it literally just comes down to this one thing, and that is narcissistic supply. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Coach Adriana. I'm a fellow survivor of narcissistic abuse, empowering fellow survivors to heal, set boundaries, and live life on their own terms. If you want to work with me, check out the link in the description under this video. And in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down how narcissists manipulate, what they're looking for when they're manipulating, how this gives them a sense of power and control over you, and what you can do to stop feeding into their endless need for supply. And without further ado, let's get your shift together and dive right into it. I know what you're asking yourself, and I'm going to answer that question right now. What exactly is narcissistic supply? And this is something that when you're a normal person with empathy, it's not going to immediately make sense to you because it's going to sound like the most ridiculous thing in the world, because it is. And don't worry if it doesn't immediately make sense. All it means when it doesn't make sense is that you're just not wired that way, because you could never imagine doing this to other people because you have way too much empathy to be that messed up in the head, for lack of a better term. Because at the end of the day, I'm sure you could never imagine supply being your main goal in life, but we have to remember that when we're dealing with narcissists, we're not dealing with normal, healthy people. We are dealing with people who are on a mission to destroy you, all for the purpose of supply. So what is it? This is your emotional reaction, your energy, your time, your engagement in those circular conversations. We call that word salad, where they just talk in circles. They throw all these words together. It's designed to confuse the ever living crap out of you. And it works because confused people are easier to control. And I say all the time, if you're confused, you're being abused. They'll rope you into these 3-hour long conversations that can go well into the wee hours of the morning. If you've ever been woken up at like midnight and forced to have this conversation and it goes on till like 3, 4 a.m. That's another version of narcissistic supply for this person, because you're genuinely thinking, if I actually engage in this conversation and try to work things out, we're going to reach a conclusion. No, you're not. It's going to be more confusing. They're going to waste your time. They're going to feel powerful and in control for wasting your time. And you're exhausted. They're energized from it because they have now fed off of all of your emotions. They're literally energy vampires. Supply can also be your resources, right? So financial abuse is a thing. They might be using you for money. They could be using you for knowledge, information. If you work together, they might be trying to get information from you. If you're studying in the class with this person, they might want to read your notes because they didn't take any and they're going to use that. And so they have this sense of entitlement to getting all of this information from you because they're just entitled to everything, right? Resources, money, things like that. It really all boils down to them wanting to feel a sense of power and control over you, because when they see you in an emotional, bamboozled state, they're getting a little kick out of it and they're enjoying it and they're feeding off of it. And it's that messed up. Supply is pretty much any energy and attention that you exert towards the narcissist. And something that I teach my group coaching clients in my 12-week small bulletproof group coaching program is that you can also be giving a narcissist secondhand supply if you're engaging with their enablers or flying monkeys. Enablers are the people that excuse and justify the narcissist's behavior, and they can act as flying monkeys. Flying monkeys are the people who do the narcissist's dirty work. So they might come and ask you weird questions or try to get information from you or get an emotional reaction from you. And when you're giving these people an emotional reaction, or you're spending time engaging and giving them words, they're going to report that back to the narcissist. So while you didn't directly engage with the narcissist, you engaged with one of their little cheerleaders, and that person is going to report that back to the narc, and they're going to get secondhand supply from you that way. And really, when a narcissist is getting supply, they are feeling powerful and in control. Like they live to waste your time. It's so crazy to think about because you probably don't live to waste other people's time, but you're normal. So congratulations if the concept of supply doesn't make any sense right now. And you might need to rewatch this video several times to really have it sink in, because it's such a, when I first started learning about supply, it was such a far out there concept that it was so difficult for me to figure out that some people just think this way. But here's like This might be like a bit of an extreme comparison, but I mean, serial killers, like they get a little kick out of killing people, right? So narcissists get a little kick out of like killing your soul, basically. So if that's an easier way to help you understand it, hopefully that kind of resonates. And it's just that messed up mindset that you're willing to destroy another person's life in order to feel relevant, which there's so many other ways to feel relevant in this world. Abusing and harming other people isn't it, but we can't rationalize with irrational people. So sometimes you just have to accept that some people are just so messed up and they need to save themselves at some point. If they never do, that's on them. It's not your job to help another person. And so let's talk about the main ways that narcissists get supply. It's really through that cycle of abuse, love bomb, devalue, discard. If you haven't watched that video, check out the link up here somewhere for that video. That's going to help you really get a deeper understanding on the cycle of abuse. It's love bomb, devalue, discard. And in a nutshell, love bombing is whatever they need to say or do in order to gain your trust. They're going to say nice things to you and these nice gestures and presents or anything really that is nice and that you want to hear or receive from them. And even if it's something tiny, like they're just being reasonable or they're agreeing with you on something or they're pretending to take accountability or pretending to apologize, it's whatever is going to gain your trust. So they're going to be likable because you're not going to trust somebody who you don't like. And so this is how they present themselves in the love bombing stage. And you can give them supply during the love bombing stage by praising them, thanking them, drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak. And they're really being perceptive of if you're grabbing onto the love bombing, and they're going to know that as soon as they gain your trust, they're going to go into the devaluation stage. And this is really where they start insulting you, where the abuse starts to look like abuse. But you have to remember the love bombing was abuse as well to begin with, because it was done under, false pretenses. It's not who they really are. There was no truth or validity to their love bombing. It was only to gain your trust for more abuse. The goal of devaluation is to keep you in a dysregulated, bamboozled emotional state. So you're producing supply because you're bamboozled, right? And you're feeling any of the emotions of guilt, shame, or fear, or confusion, or bamboozlement, or a sense of obligation. Their goal is to keep you in one of those 6 emotional states so that you're easier to control and they can continue that cycle of abuse. If they are insulting you, putting you down, or making fun of an insecurity and exploiting your vulnerabilities, things like that, this is done to get you to react emotionally, right? Why would you say that? How could you do this to me? Are you kidding? Are you seriously using this thing I went through against me? Like, how dare you, right? Like, they want you to engage in those conversations so they can then spin things around, waste your time, deplete you of your emotional energy. You're going to be exhausted. If you're wondering why you're tired after engaging with a narcissist, this is why. They are tapping in to your energetic reserves and they are siphoning that out of you by making you feel this kind of urgency that you need to engage and go through all the insanity with them. And that's, in a nutshell, that's why you're tired. And this can compound from the love bombing stage where they were gaining your trust by having those really nice heart-to-heart conversations with you and you felt like you could trust them and you started spilling everything to them, all of your deepest, darkest secrets, all of the traumas you've gone through. And they really only gain your trust to get that information from you so that they can use it against you in the devaluation stage in the future. And, you really need to go on an information diet with these people because anything that you say can and will be used against you. The key is do not tell them anything personal about your life. Don't tell them anything that triggers you or anything that they could use against you, because a normal person will obviously not do any of these things. But when you're dealing with a narcissist, they're going to do these things. You've been warned at the end of the day, and it might take some time and some repetition of this continuing to happen over and over again before you really take this advice that I'm giving you in this video to heart. And that's okay if that's the case. But again, the sooner you recognize that you need to stop telling this person things, the sooner things are going to start getting better from you. But then, of course, that's going to get into the whole thing of then you're going to start feeling guilty for not telling them anything. And that's like, again, this is why we do the inner emotional work. But before I start talking about the inner work, let's just continue this video. And so basically that devaluation stage, they are using everything against you during that stage, because then you're going to be super reactive, super emotional, and they're going to have a field day getting supply out of you. And then we've got the discard stage. And then there's people who say that they've never been discarded by their narcissist. But the thing is, there's a chance they've probably given you the silent treatment for 5 minutes or gone to bed angry, and then they wake up in the morning as if nothing has ever happened. That is still discard, right? So they don't need to kick you out of the house or dump you and like, stop talking to you for like several years, weeks, days, months, whatever. Obviously, that is discard as well, but sometimes the discard's not that obvious and it's 5 minutes of just the silent treatment, or again, going to bed angry, waking up the next morning, right? Going to bed angry, not resolving everything is discard. And then in the morning when they wake up and pretend like nothing ever happened the night before, we're back into the love bombing stage, and now you're confused, right? So do you see how it just repeats over and over and over again? Then they're going to devalue, then they're going to like, it's just going to keep happening over and over again. And it's just this whole cycle that is really designed to use your emotions against you, and you're going to feel anything like guilt, shame, fear, sense of obligation, bamboozlement, confusion. These are the emotions that make you easier to control. For example, let's face it, if you feel guilty about something, right? Let's say you want to go no contact with your narcissistic mother, but you feel guilty. And she starts saying things to you like, oh, how could you do this to your mother? I'm your only mother. I worked so hard. I sacrificed everything for you. You're so ungrateful, blah, blah, blah. You're going to feel guilty when you're a normal person with empathy and emotions if someone's telling you this, especially if it's your own mother. And this is why like narcissistic mothers, like their kids are such great targets for them, because they literally mold you from day one. And so nobody wants to feel guilty, right? Nobody like goes into a conversation saying like, I cannot wait to feel guilty. It's like the best feeling of my life. Like I just feel so alive when I feel guilty, right? Like it's so insane to even say it out loud. They want you to feel guilty because the first thing that you want to do when you feel guilty is to stop feeling guilty. And so when you feel guilty, you're more likely to act on that guilt. For example, the same example of trying to go no contact, but now your mom's guilting you. You're probably not going to go no contact, and you're going to increase communication and be in contact. And guess what your narcissistic mother gets from you? Supply. She gets more of an opportunity to attack and berate and belittle and get emotional reactions and attention and your time and your energy out of you. And that is time, energy, and attention and emotion that you could have actually used towards yourself on your healing journey, right? And so all that extra time wasted on the narcissist it doesn't come back. Time is the only resource we never get back. But in the moment when you're feeling so guilty, you start believing that, oh my gosh, if I want to go no contact with my mother, I'm obviously Satan reincarnated. So I'm just gonna stay in contact with my mother. And there you go. You're going to go do what she wanted you to do. Whereas let's say you didn't feel guilty not because you're like a sociopath and you don't feel emotions anymore, but because you did the inner work and you processed the guilt and you recognize that this is not your guilt to carry. Your narcissistic mother should feel guilty for abusing you your entire life. But instead of, doing that, reflecting on the guilt and being a better person, she's going to project that guilt onto you. And so when you decide to do something for yourself or claim some level of independence from your narcissistic mother, you're less likely to do it because you feel guilty. But when you process the guilt and your narcissistic mother is guilting you, it's going to be easier for you to actually go and stay no contact and continue processing your guilt as it comes up, because it's a roller coaster, right? One day you might feel great and like, okay, like I don't need to journal anymore, but you still do. And that's a trap, right? Like I talk about journaling so much, like keep journaling even when you're feeling great, because it's just easier to have that habit established. And I fall into the trap all the time where it's like, yeah, I can skip a few days. Then next thing I know, I have neck pain and I have to journal. So, learn from my mistakes, just keep journaling. If you don't know how to journal, take the quiz. It's free. It's at the link in the description below. The results are going to have the journaling instructions for you, and it's going to really help you start getting a basic understanding on how to process your emotions. And so anyways, when you are in that emotional, easier to control state, any logic kind of goes right out the window because your nervous system's on overdrive and emotions in the nervous system are so interconnected. This is something I teach in depth in my Bulletproof group coaching program. You can apply at the link in the description for that as well. The main goal is to stop giving the narcissist supply, and that's going to involve you processing those emotions so that you can stop supplying the narcissist. When you've processed the guilt, you try to go no contact, and your mother tries to guilt you, you're not going to be controlled by that guilt. You might still feel guilty, but you're going to have so much more wherewithal of like, yeah, I know what this tactic is. I am going to proceed with my plan to do what's right for me if no contact is the thing that's right for me, right? It's not for everyone, but this is just an example. And the main goal in general is to not give the narcissist supply, or at least massively reduce the amount of supply that you're giving to them. In most cases, it can look like going full no contact. So if that's an option, you have my 100% full support. If it's not an option, that's okay. This doesn't mean you're not going to heal. This doesn't mean you're going to be falling for every single guilt trip the narcissist throws your way, right? You can still gray rock or be low contact depending on if there's any legal stuff, any children that you share with the narc, or family estate crap and whatever. Sometimes, low contact or gray rocking is the way to go. If you, still live with a narcissistic parent and you're saving to move out, gray rock is going to really be your only option. And I think I have a video about gray rocking. I might make a new one soon, since now I'm like trying to do YouTube properly. And I think more people are seeing my videos, so I might remake it if it doesn't exist already. But anyways, gray rocking is when you don't give information, one word answers, no emotional response, and you're just the most boring person ever, just like a gray rock. And you didn't have a bad day. You didn't have a good day. You had a day. Like, it's just, you're so boring. That is, the best way to not give supply, because they're going to say stuff to you and they're going to try to harass you and get an emotional reaction. But when you show like you don't care, like, oh, okay, cool. You think I'm the biggest idiot. That's great. Awesome. Great opinion you've got there. And like, you don't care about it, right? Like, rendering their opinions insignificant is like the best way to hurt a narcissist, honestly, because if you don't give them that emotional reaction, they're not going to feel that little kick, they're not going to get their jollies. They're not going to feel powerful and in control of you. They're going to be like, oh shit, like I got to try harder or I'm going to give up. They're probably going to try harder a lot more when you start gray rocking. And a lot of people say that gray rocking doesn't work because of that, but that just confirms that it is working. And you're really just dealing with someone who feels so entitled to an emotional reaction from you that they're going to keep trying harder to get that from you. At the end of the day, the whole point is to recognize when this person is trying to put you in a bamboozled emotional state, and not giving that to them and processing your emotions on the side away from this person. And things are going to start getting better. You're going to start feeling like your sanity coming back, like start journaling, do the quiz at the link in the description for free, and start that journaling process today. And notice how sanity inducing it's going to be in a couple of weeks once you've stuck to it. And if you've done the journaling, let me know in the comments how it's been for you. The more you recognize that this person really just wants that emotional reaction from you, and realizing like normal people don't function this way, and the more that you understand that supply, literally just getting that reaction from you, is the biggest goal of the narcissist, the easier it's going to be to start catching yourself when you are supplying the narcissist, because there are no amounts of conversations or words or combinations of words or ways that you can phrase things that you can say to the narcissist that is going to make them start respecting you and start being reasonable and stop abusing you. It's not going to happen. If that was the case, like, my channel would not exist, and all the other channels for narcissistic abuse recovery would not exist, right? Like, these people are going to use all of these confusing tactics all the time. And you have to remember that you do not have the power to change another person, right? Like, and that, I hope that's a relief for you, because the narcissist has probably blamed you for why they behave the way they behave. And at the end of the day, you never had the power to make that person behave abusively to begin with. That's just the nature of who they are. And so you have to remember that every single person on this planet who is an adult is responsible for their own emotional state. But narcissists are going to project all of that onto you for the purpose of getting supply from you, because that is all it has ever been about and all it ever will be about with this person. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions about narcissistic supply. And let me know as well if you've stopped giving the narcissist in your life supply in the comments and how that's been going for you, because you never know who that might help. If someone's like really nervous about stopping giving them supply, share your story. You don't know if someone needs to read it. And again, I cannot emphasize the importance of doing that inner emotional work one day at a time, one baby step at a time. And healing really does become a lifestyle change. It's not this thing that you do for a couple of months, right? Like think about it like going to the gym. Are you going to work with a personal trainer for 3 months and then never set foot in a gym again and expect to have all the same health benefits of, those first 3 months that you were working out? No, it's the same thing with your emotional health, right? So you don't just work with a narcissistic abuse recovery coach, for example. I know a really great one. If you're looking, you can check out the link in the description. Just throwing it out there. It's not like you just work with a coach for 3 months and then you never journal again or do any sort of inner work again. No, it has to be a part of your day-to-day life. And it's like an emotional hygiene sort of thing. So stick to doing that inner work. If you want support on the inner work, link in the description. You'll have options to work with me. I would also encourage you to take the free quiz and consider joining my amazing community membership. It's $27 per month to start. You can cancel anytime. You get my audio courses, you get resources, you get bonus events, you get monthly events, you get my guidance. It's fantastic. Less than $1 per day to get started. It's a really great way to work with me if you're on a budget. It's like the fraction of the cost of like a one-on-one session. And it's, a lot of magic happens in the community. So feel free to check that out at the link in the description or check out the other options as well. And I will stop rambling. I guess, this is the video. This is supply. Again, supply is your emotional reaction, your time, your energy, your attention. Any energy and attention you exert towards this person is what they are feeding off of. They get a little kick from it. They feel like, oh, I'm in control of this person. I was able to get them to feel this way. So I'm basically God. You know what I mean? Like they literally think that they have control over people when they make those people feel like shit. And you don't have to participate in that circus. As much as they have conditioned you into believing that you do, you don't. And it might take some time and, healing to get to that point where you believe me. And that's okay. It's totally valid. I hope this video has planted the seeds for healing at least. And yeah, I'll stop rambling. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. And you can also feel free to suggest any other video topics you'd like to see me cover on this channel, and I'll probably make those videos. See you next time. Bye.